Hi, my name is Steve Nagai-Ma, and I'd like to share a story about how a nonprofit English service went from serving 1,200 students per year to serving more than 800,000 students per year without needing more donations or grant money. So let's start with some background. This nonprofit, which is part of a larger coalition, focuses on serving low-income immigrants, and they offer highly rated, very popular English classes. Each year, they actually have to turn people away because their classes fill up so fast. And I asked the director what was holding them back from serving more students, and she said, well, there's a few things. One, we can't find enough free space to hold our classes in. Two, we can't recruit enough teachers given how low we pay them. And three, we can't raise enough money from our donors to help subsidize the cost of the program. For those of you in the nonprofit world, this story might sound a little bit familiar, unfortunately. So leaders of this immigrant-serving coalition began working with me and a team of social entrepreneurs, and we took on the challenge of developing a service that did three things. One, we wanted to make sure it was very good at teaching people English. Two, we wanted to make sure it could serve hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And three, we wanted to make sure it could break even financially so they wouldn't have to rely more on philanthropy and donations. So we did a little digging and we realized that several studies indicated that the best way for people to learn a language is through immersion, a process where you surround yourself in the language. If you're learning English, you would listen to music in English, you would watch TV shows in English, you would have as many conversations as you could, all in English, and eventually you would learn the language. So we started developing ways to encourage immigrants to immerse in English, and spoiler alert, most of our original ideas flopped. We tried to connect people with conversation partners where they could speak with native English speakers, but we realized that the logistics of managing face-to-face meetings at scale would be very difficult. So we tried online conversation partners, but recruiting volunteers and having those volunteers stick with us was a big challenge. We tried online immersion coaching sessions, but folks had bad internet connections, limited data plans, and a whole number of other problems that didn't make that idea work. We partnered with existing schools to add an out-of-the-classroom immersion component to their curriculum, and while schools loved the idea, they didn't want to pay for it at a sustainable rate. And for any of our online ideas where immigrants had to pay, we realized that immigrants either didn't have credit cards or they were unwilling to pay through a credit card in an online form. All of our ideas at this point either cost too much money, couldn't scale up for some reason, or didn't bring nearly enough revenue in to make them sustainable. But we were learning a ton. We were learning about our students, we were learning about how to create a good quality English program, and we ultimately pivoted to a new idea. We started providing immersion tips, strategies, and English learning content to students through short messages on their phones. And we brought in revenue from ads when people looked at our content online. And this idea showed promise at teaching English and getting people to immerse, but in the early days, the business model was not working. It cost us more than $2 to acquire every student, and we were projected to make less than 40 cents per student over the student's lifetime engagement with us. So we were very far away from breaking even. So we moved into a phase where we tried a whole slew of ideas to either lower the cost to acquire new students or increase the amount of revenue we can generate from each student. We used ads to get people into the program, so we changed the ads by using different images, using different language, we changed the targeting of the ads, and little by little the acquisition costs came down. On the revenue side of things, we knew that we needed to improve engagement and retention rates, which was also good for learning outcomes. When people looked at our content, when they stuck with us for longer periods of time, not only were they learning more, but we were also making the program more sustainable. So we tried all sorts of things to improve engagement and retention, from the types of content we provided, to the location and the look of the buttons that we put on our messages, to the time of day that our students got our messages. We also tried packaging our content into multiple day lessons and themes. We tried quizzes, we tried interactive flip cards, we tried longer content pieces and shorter ones. We tried 1 lesson per day, 2 lessons per day, 3 lessons per day. And a few of these ideas actually worked, some of them really, really well, and we saw our revenue go up and up and up. Eventually, we built a program that could actually get people to immerse in English and could break even financially, and so we invested in scaling the program up. Quickly, the service grew to more than 800,000 people, and the team continues to make improvements to the program so that it's far more effective at transforming real people's lives. Now, this is a great success story, but we didn't succeed by gathering a bunch of smart people in a room to develop the perfect service in a vacuum. Instead, the service evolved after we tried different iterations of it and got feedback from real learners. And while that might seem random, it's actually the result of a very well thought out innovation process that was developed originally in Silicon Valley and is now spreading through countless businesses and social enterprises. It's called lean startup or lean impact when you use it to create social change. And one of the keys to lean innovation is to start by building small-scale working prototypes of your ideas, get them in front of real users, and then make iterations based on how your users respond. And that's exactly what we did. We built quick working prototypes of our English learning ideas, we got feedback from real English learners, and then we moved on from the ideas that didn't work and kept making improvements to the ideas that did until we built something that could meet all of our goals. Now we've built something that's well on its way to serving more than 1 million people, and it uses fewer philanthropic dollars than the original program did, which is only serving 1,200 people. And this example is not a one-off success story either. This lean impact process helped the Sierra Club increase its donation rates by more than 500%. It was behind the largest African American voter turnout campaign in U.S. history, and it's helping nonprofits and social ventures around the world find solutions to poverty, health problems, and countless other issues. Now imagine how much good we can do. Imagine how much human suffering we could reduce if we didn't just simply make our social change efforts 10 or 20% better, but instead we made our efforts 10 to 20 times more effective. That's the kind of results we can achieve if we invest in social change innovation. Thank you for listening to the story. Check out flyingbird.us if you want support in your own social innovation efforts. Thank you.